October is Safe Work Month, and this is our second video in a two-part series dealing with psychosocial hazards. So Cara Leavesley and I, Joel Lilovich of 3D HR Legal, we're sharing with you how you can spot and assess those psychosocial hazards, which was video 1. So if you haven't watched that, I suggest you go back and have a look. And in this video, we're going to talk to you about the control mechanisms that you can put in place to manage and deal with psychosocial hazards. So Cara, is there some standardized controls that we can put in place?
I think when it comes to psychosocial hazards, remembering that we're looking at anything that can cause psychological harm, we really have to start at the baseline when we're looking at how we're going to control these, which is what have we got in place in terms of systems and protections to keep people safe. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if we were going to look at the psychosocial hazard of lack of role clarity, the baseline first basic step we'll be looking at is making sure people have clear position description, which outlines their key tasks and their responsibilities. And it's something for their manager and themselves to start and go from as to what their clarity in terms of the expectations are. This then gets built upon by the practices within the organisation. So, for example, in role clarity, you'd look at something like an induction, telling someone what it actually means in practice, showing them how the person before them performed the role and what was good about that, and maybe some things that you would change to improve on it. And making sure that every time that person has a change to their role, that you're discussing what that will look like in practice and, where to from here. I think the third thing is to make sure that people have the right systems in place in terms of structure of who they're reporting to. So if someone's got an issue, where do they go? But also if somebody's just reporting on a day-to-day basis, are they reporting to one key person who's responsible for their position within the organisation, for giving them that role clarity. The old saying, too many cooks spoil the broth. I think the same can be definitely said for employees too. The fourth thing I think is making sure your managers know actually how to manage, that they can provide information, instructions in a respectful way and give clarity to their people. And the fifth thing is really the fail-safe. So what if all of those things go wrong? How do we help our people? And that's by giving them somewhere to go and some way to regularly raise concerns if they have them. So, for example, in terms of role clarity, 360 reviews regularly each month with your employees, so they are able to say, yes, we agree, that's working with my role, or maybe I don't agree, that's not what my role is. Encouraging them to have a plan as to what their role will entail in the next 6 months so that you're all working from the same page, and having, the extra level of complaint zone. So if there is a problem and it's causing conflict between people, they have someone to go to get it and hit the nail on the head before it becomes a psychological harm incident in terms of illness or injury.
That is so helpful to have that specific example and how we can actually control it. And role clarity, I think, is something that a lot of people don't give enough thought to, but it's something that affects most organisations. Other general kind of control measures we can use would include things like policies and procedures, like Cara mentioned, the complaint procedure that we need, or it might be a more generic workplace behaviours policy. All of those things are important, but as you said, I think a fundamental requirement is to have that feedback loop between employees in the organisation and the management level so that we can see continual change and progress. And then finally, like all good risk management systems, we need some sort of review in place. So is that just an annual review or a survey? Is that where we go?
Well, in terms of what I would recommend, I'd say, look, you could do a survey, but you want to be doing it more regularly than that.
So that's it. Video 1 told you how to spot and assess psychosocial hazards, and we've just discussed how you can control them and review them. So if you want to know more about how you can manage psychosocial hazards in your workplace, then get in touch with us at 3dhrlegal.com.au or by email hello@3dhrlegal.com.au.